the other one to do. Mine are in a different order. I don't know why. But now, your goal, again, when I have you do these, you have to do these algebraically. It was on the review that we did. We did the review with the first 5. Five of them? Yep. Yeah, looks like we did that one anyway. So now, it doesn't matter which ones you put together. I happen to put it together, so like I told you, I like to do my negatives and positives together. So I combined these two and these two, and I eliminated y. Remember, once you combine 2 and you combine the other 2, you have to eliminate the same variable. Your goal is to get to 2 equations with 2 variables, and then combine those 2 and eliminate another one. This case was nice. The way it came out, the 6x and negative 6x automatically canceled itself out. Now, once you get to here, back substitute. You have your z, go to one of these. I picked this one, I substituted it in. Find your x, then go up to one of the original ones with all 3, substitute it in, and find your y. They were all fractions. If you did 2 other ones and it's not working out, let me know. We'll do your 2. If you did 2 others and it didn't work out, we'll do your 2. But your goal is to eliminate one variable first. Get down to 2 variables, 2 equations. Label your equations. I like to label mine A and B so I know these I have to pull together again. And work your way back substitute. Questions? This is good? Everybody got this? Good. Good. Okay, and then the last one.
Lauren said yes.
Aaron? No?
No, I saw it.
You saw what you did?
Yeah.
You sure? Okay. We don't want to leave you hanging there.
You have it.
You have to back substitute. Back, find one answer, substitute back into one that has a 2 in it. Get that answer, and substitute back into your 3.
This is just a matrix, right?
For this, you just had to do a matrix. Yeah, you just had to do a matrix for this. So we came out to be c equals negative 1, a plus b plus c equals 4. Guys, for a plus 2b plus c equals 13. Fill these in with zeros. So here's your matrix. Matrix 0, 0, 1, negative 1, 1, 1, 1, 4, 4, 2, 1, 13. There's your matrix. RREF. And you should come out with A was 2, B is 3, and C is negative 1. Then you're not done. I need the equation. Find the equation. So I need you to plug it back into that. So y is equal to A was 2, B is 3, and C is negative 1. And again, put this in your y equal and check to make sure that your points showed up on your parabola. On your test, I just gave you a parabola, not a circle. The circle has a lot more involved to it, so I figured you were a little bit more comfortable with your parabola. How would you do this with back substitution? Plug the 2 into the z. You're going backwards. Okay, if you don't need to do this, just sit quietly. So now, you know your z, you know your y. And take it one step back again into this. 2x. Sorry, thank you. So substitute what you have. We don't know the x, we know the y, we know the z. So combine your pieces. 10 minus 6 is 4. Subtract your 4. And x is 2. Back substitution. X is 3. Thank goodness I have you guys here keeping track. No, there's one of those. That one was what you started with. And then I gave you a 2 equations, a 3 equations, a word problem, and a parabola. A 2 equation is when you just have 2 equations, 2 variables. Yeah. Yeah.
Each of every one that's going to be on.
Certainly. For you, I will.
That'd be less complicated, yeah.
For you, I will. Okay. So let's go back to a 2 equation. Okay, such as one of these.
Yes, I'm so serious.
Okay, let's do this. 2 equations, 2 variables. Guys, keep up here because this is your review.
So it's going to be one question on that.
One question on this. How would you solve? Aaron, how would you solve this? This one.
That one. You could
Yeah, let's do y equals. Okay, so if I'm going to do y equals, set this up for me, y equals.
Y equals -2x.
No. Add y to the other side. What do you get? Y equals 2x. Add y to this side. Add y to this side and add 1 to the other side. What do you get? Okay, you should know how to put them to y equals. So, y equals y. X squared plus 1 equals 2x. What do I do? Subtract 2x. Everything goes to one side when you have descending variables. Whoops. You didn't catch me that time, guys. I caught you. I can't talk and write at the same time today. Now what? Factor. What are the factors? -1, -1. You only have one thing to factor, this guy. So it's x and 1, and they both have to be negatives to multiply to be a positive and to add to be a negative. So therefore, you really only have to do this one once. X is 1. What does that tell us about our parabola and a line? It only touched once. A parabola and a line can touch 0, 1, or 2. So since we got the same x value for both, it only touched once. It was tangent to that parabola. But now we need to find a y. So bring the easiest one down there. Don't forget to substitute this in. Y is equal to 2 times 1, so y is equal to 2. So your point of intersection, your solution is that. And because you set them up y equals, throw them in your calculator and make sure they intersect at that point. That's a great check. You already have y equals. That's like one of my favorite ones, the y equals, because you can always check them on your calculator. Or take this next equation, that cubic one, or take this guy over here, the squared one that you didn't mess with the 2x, and plug it into that and make sure it works. Questions? All right, let's do a 3. Get a good one. Okay, perfect. All right, I need to combine 2 and combine 2 others to get rid of my variable, one variable. So, Donovan, give me 2 to combine. And tell me why. First and second, what do you want to eliminate? Okay, Donovan's going to combine these 2. Aaron's going to do the next. That's how I keep Aaron on his toes. That's how I keep him awake and stop watching. So, Donovan wants to eliminate the y, so what should I do, Donovan? Okay, just by 2, because he's got positives and negatives here. So that's going to work itself out. So I like to rewrite them. You have way too much to do if you don't rewrite them. What? I can't speak today either. Okay, now I'm going to add these together. So we got 6x. Oh, look at this. Out came my y, out came my z. 5x. I'm so messing up today. Okay, divide by 5. Is this possible? Did we end up with this?
Yeah.
Okay. You picked a good one. Okay. Now, we know x. So, but we can still eliminate your y. We can still eliminate y if you want to from 2 others. Or if you know x, can you go in there and eliminate x out of 2 more? This kind of isn't the one I wanted to do. I want to be able to do the 2 and then the 2. Could we trade and not do this one? I know, but this one you're going to take a shortcut and substitute in x and then just have 2 y's. So, yeah.
What?
I want to give you one that has...
That's one of them.
That one was a big one. Let's see. Let's do this one. All right, I'm sorry. I'm hoping that this one works out better. Okay. So let's start again. Donovan, which 2 would you like to do? First and second, because look, when he does the first and second, he's going to eliminate y without even having to multiply. So we get 4x, there goes the y, plus 7z equals 9. Okay? Aaron, give me 2 more. And you need to eliminate y.
2 more?
2 more. Pick 2 others.
One more segment?
You pick one more set of equations. Okay, let's use this one with which one? Guys?
And the first one.
Okay? He's going to do the first and the third. And that makes sense because he's eliminating y. This way his y's have opposite signs. Good one to pick. So now, what do I have to do to eliminate my y's? Okay, let's multiply the top by 2. Make sure you multiply all the way across. That's why I put the whole thing in parentheses. Bring this guy back underneath it. And combine these. And out goes your y's. If your y's didn't eliminate, then stop there because you did something wrong. You got to eliminate the same variable. Okay, this is my second one. Now, I'm going to take those 2, A and B, because now they have 2 variables, and I'm going to eliminate 2 equations, 2 variables. I'm going to eliminate another variable. Alicia, what one would you like to eliminate?
Let's do the x.
Let's do the x. So what would you like to multiply the top by? Okay, you need to find a common multiple. Yeah, no, it's not. The first multiple that 4 and 10 both fit into. Do they both fit into 4? Do they fit into 20? So what does it take to multiply this side to get 20? 5. So let's multiply him by 5. And then this one, what would we multiply to get 20 but the opposite sign? Negative 2, right? So you don't have to multiply. You could multiply by 4 and by 10. Your numbers are a little bit larger, but that's still, it'll still work itself out. So let's multiply across. 20x plus 35z equals 45. Negative 20x, see where we're going to cancel? Negative 6z, negative 16. So this becomes 29, and this becomes 29, right? Divide by 29, and z equals 1. That's my goal. Find x, y, and z. So I got the z. Now what do I do, Trey? Not another equation. I got one answer. What can I do now? I got to start back substituting. This is when you back substitute. So give me one where I have only 2 variables for. Pick 4x plus 7z. He's picking our A choice, and now we're going to plug z in at 1. Subtract 7. So what does x equal? half. I got to divide by 4. X is equal to 1/2. Now, you're going to substitute back into one of the original 3, where you have all 3 variables. Since x is your fraction, try to look at the coefficient of x and make sure it's even. And in this case, they're all even. And I'm just saying that so that you don't have to work with a fraction if you don't have to. So let's pick the first one. So the x we know, or the x we do know. The y we don't know. And the z we know. So this will give me 1. And 1 plus 1 is 2. I'm going to subtract 2. So I'm going to get 4y is equal to negative 6 and divide by 4. Negative 6 over 4 and reduce this. Negative 3 over 2. Now, if you want to make sure this is right, just take one of these and plug all 3 into it. They have to work. And it's a good check. After going through all of this, or what's another way we can check? Matrix. Put it in your matrix. Pull out the coefficients for me. 2, 4, 1, negative 4. 2, negative 4, 6, 13. 4, negative 2, 1, 6. Do a matrix on this and see if you come out to see if you get the same one. Good check. Good check on this one. We're going to have a word problem very, very similar to this. So, remember your interest. Your interest says principal times rate is interest. This is your simple interest. If you invest $100 at 5%, what you earn off of that is $5, not your $100, because you invested that. You earn $5 interest. And simple interest usually is going to be compounded in a year, so we're just going to take it as that. The total of $15.20 a year is received in interest. Interest. This is my principal times rate equals I. There's my interest. From 3 investments. So let's start with let X equal the first amount, Y equal the second amount, and Z equal the third amount. Now, your interest rates for these 3 are 5%, 7%, 8%. So let's turn those into decimals. How do I turn 5% into a decimal? 0.05. So at 0.05, at 0.07, at 0.08. Okay, the 5% investment is half of the 7% investment, and the 7% investment is $1,500 less than the 8% investment. Now, sometimes it tells you what all 3 investments were. That's your X plus Y plus Z. But this one only gave us our interest. So we have to do our principal times rate, plus our principal times rate, plus our principal times rate. So what equation could you give me for that one? This is your interest that you earned. 0.05 times X plus 0.07 plus 0.08. And how much did this interest come to? $15.20. Sometimes they say 3 investments totals $100,000. If it tells you what your investment totals, it's just X plus Y plus Z. But if it gives you the interest income, interest is principal times rate. You have to have your principal times your rate. Principal we don't know. That's your X or your Y or your Z. Okay? Then they told us our 5% investment, the number that we invested, X was the amount we invested, is half of the 7%, which is my Y. So how would I write this? My 5% X is half of my 7. Wait. Who's answering? Kyle, did you answer? Okay, so let's see if that's true. Always test it. So, my 5% is half. If my 7 is 10, what would my 5 be? My 5% be? a half times 10. Would I get 5? Would that be half of this?
Will it be the same as 2x equals 5?
Yep, we can turn it into 2x. You can do this a number of ways, but I just want you to get it someplace and test it. So if this is 100, then half of that is 50. So I made that statement. And Vanessa would like to get rid of that fraction and say 2x equals y. That's our second statement. Now, our third statement is your 7% investment, not your interest. So your y is $1,500 less than your z. So how do I write that? Y is z minus 1,500. Okay, so now I have my 3. So the only thing I have to do is set this up to x, y, z constant, which is what you were saying before. So move this y over and give me 2x minus y, you can have plus 0z, equals 0. You need to get them lined up x, y, z constant, because that's what you're going to put in your matrix. This guy, same thing. You can subtract your z over here, you can subtract your y here, whatever you'd like to do. So, I'm going to just subtract my z. So I have no x plus 1y minus 1z equals negative 1,500. It doesn't matter which way you go with it as long as it's valid. I could add my y here, subtract my y here, add my 1,500 that way. Whatever you want to do is fine. Now, once you have your 3 statements, you just have to build your matrix. So we pull out our coefficients. 0.05, 0.07, 0.08. Make sure your constant is always the last one. This guy, watch your space holders. 2, -1, 0, 0. And you needed a space holder for your x. Put this in your matrix and give me your x, y, and z. And we have a house candy, they can put it in their matrix. Alright, well. Don't all jump at once, I'll do it for you. But I don't do it on your test. What's the order of this matrix? 3 times 4. Good.
No, I think my answer's wrong.
Somebody's always right. Don't forget your second quit. Print out your matrix and make sure it's what you wanted to put in. Especially if it doesn't work out. Print it out. So you should get x is 4,000, y is 8,000, and z is 9,500. Now, check these. Just check them by the words. Do they all total? Didn't tell us what it totaled. But is this true? That my 5% is half of my 7%? Yeah. That my y is 1,500 less than my z? Yeah. So that's good. The only other one you'd have to check is this one. Okay?